I am happy to join with you today.
Once you change your philosophy, you change your thought pattern.
I love America. I love everybody. Do what this white here can do more.
What's good, man, and welcome to the latest edition of the One Way Podcast. I'm your host, Lorenzo, aka One Way Renzo. It's good to be back with you guys. Again, we're going to continue the podcast every day in April. It's been a little redundant. I think this is the 23rd, so this would be the 23rd podcast that I've done in a row, or I might have done a little more. Actually, because I might have done 2 on some days, but who's really counting besides me? But glad that you all are back, whether you're listening with your Apple product or your Android product, or you're listening through Spreaker via the internet, Podomatic, and all the other things or platforms that we're on. Thank you for listening and welcome. Remember, you can contact the show at 706-445-2129. That's called or text. But in searching for content the past few days, I'd say it hasn't been as much of a content problem as much as it's been a time problem. I really haven't just created the window of time necessary to sit down and do a proper recording with proper research and all that kind of stuff. It's not every day I'm going to get on here and have something prepared for you that I've been working on for, 2 or 3 weeks. It's definitely not that kind of podcast. Could it be that kind of podcast? Absolutely. But it's not where we are right now. So I basically talk to a lot of people, watch a lot of news, read a lot of books, read a lot of articles, search a lot of blog sites and discussion forums and things of that nature to help stimulate my mind and see if we can find some content to bring you guys. And the other day I just happened to be flipping through channels. It was fight night. It was Saturday night, which the fights that I watched Saturday were amazing. Boxing matches were amazing. To see Kevin Lee, lightweight guy in the UFC, it's pretty cool. That was an amazing fight. But earlier that day, the University of Georgia football red and black game was on. So I was able to watch the guys that played really well last year that were returning play again. And I was also able to see this young man from the state of Georgia who Kirby Smart recruited, who just happens to be the number 1 recruit in the nation. His name is Justin Fields. He's about 6'3", 220, between 220 and 230. Runs about a 4.51. Reminds a lot of people of the likes of Cam Newton. And I don't want to put that on the young man, but he looked pretty good out there. Now, of course, during the red and black or spring training game, it's not really, they're not tackling. It's more of a 2-hand touch than anything else. But I saw the pocket collapse on him a couple of times, and I've seen it with Jake Fromm, and I've seen it with everyone else that have played quarterback at the University of Georgia, of everyone that's played football, period. Saw the pocket collapse, and I saw something that I really like. This man can really make plays with his feet. He can really make linebackers miss. He can really overpower DBs. He can really outrun and outlast defensive linemen. So the University of Georgia has a quarterback who is a freshman right now, who's going into his freshman year, that is probably better than the great freshman that we had the year before. Kirby Smart is doing a great job of recruiting at the University of Georgia. One of the biggest pet peeves I had, or one of the biggest problems I had with someone like Mark Richt, is just, it's not that he wasn't recruiting properly. He was just recruiting to his likeness. He was recruiting players that reminded him of himself when he played quarterback in the pocket. He had a type when it came to quarterback, so you couldn't get the Justin Fields. When Cam Newton was in high school and looking for a place to play in college, he was recruited by many schools across the country, ended up going to the University of Florida, going to a junior college, and after that, going into Auburn. But when he was recruited to the University of Georgia, they recruited the man as a defensive end. I can't remember his name, but the quarterback who, I don't think he actually won a national championship with Auburn that year. I think they were defeated by Clemson in the big game. But that quarterback was actually a student, a football player at the University of Georgia. He was actually at the University of Georgia playing DB. And as a quarterback, he got Auburn over the hump. Because we all know who watch college football that you can't beat Alabama without a mobile quarterback. And lo and behold, Alabama went out and got a mobile quarterback, and the game done changed, man. Things just ain't the same for gangsters as it is, or as it was. But they lost a lot, about 7 starters on the defensive side of the ball, or 7 starters period for the University of Georgia. So it's going to be a rebuilding year, but they got a lot to build on from last year. So a lot of that foundation is still there. The defense looks good. The first team defense did pick off Jake Fromm, so it's good to see that he's still in mid-season form, and the defense is already ready to complete some good things too, man. But I just want to reach out to you guys just a hot second, talk about Georgia football, if nothing else, man. Thank you all for listening. Thank you all for bearing with me through this podcast every day in the April thing. Thank you guys for subscribing, no matter how you're subscribing or listening. We're still making our way up the charts on Podomatic. I know we were really excited about being number 88 and then 77. We've had some ups and downs in the past a couple of weeks or so, but we're definitely making headway. We're getting up to 30, 40 downloads every 2 or 3 days, man. So that's pretty good, man. We're at 10 downloads a day for the past literally 4 days, man. So it's good, man. It's a lot better on Podomatic than it used to be. And that's not, counting the people that I can add them all up, but it's unnecessary. So it's good to see that each platform that I'm involved in, that the podcast is involved in, is actually showing some results in the data. That's good. It helps us get sponsors and things like that. But be looking out for that first sponsor, man. Got ashkicking.com coming right up, man. But thank you guys, man, for listening, man. We out. Peace.
You want it to be one way. What is the other way?